Hello and welcome everybody to another edition of the Buy Round podcast. I'm your host James Graham and today I'm joined by a very fresh looking Charlie White.
I'm back, Jimmy. I'm back from Las Vegas. I feel incredibly fresh compared to how I felt the other couple of Las Vegas experiences, mate. So it's good to see your face.
Yeah, likewise. It was all over the billboards in Las Vegas. Charlie White is doing 75 hard. Felt like everywhere you went, all you heard about was your little challenge, which you probably weren't as disciplined as you're supposed to be on. So I think technically you're back to day one.
Well, I didn't drink. That was sort of the most important part. And that was the thing I was telling people about, that I wasn't drinking. And I successfully didn't drink. Did I train every day? No, I didn't. Did I read every day? I didn't read any days. Did I eat well? Not necessarily. But I didn't drink. And that's the biggest challenge of Las Vegas, really.
I love being over there, but I'm so happy to be home. Like being home. And it's good to come back to what I think is one of, if not the greatest city in the world. Like Sydney is pretty amazing to come back to. I've been, like when I lived in Liverpool, there was times where I was away and the idea of like going home, although like the people there are great, it was like, oh, it's a miserable time to go. But like you come back to Sydney, it's blue skies, life's pretty good here.
I think we should be more proud of Australia as a whole. Like, I don't think as Australia, and it's kind of because we're sort of a humble nation, but we're not like, you go to America, and they're like so proud of America. Everywhere you go, it's just how good's America, blah, blah. But like our country, Australia, is much, much better than America, like significantly better. Like for all those, you come back to, Sydney, Brisbane, like two incredible places to live, like especially with everything that's happening in the world right now and all the different conflicts, you realise how lucky you are to live in Australia.
Yeah, we're not totally immune from all that, but like, and I'm sure there's plenty of people that could highlight some incidences and neighbourhoods that maybe you wouldn't want to venture down or get into conflict with people. But I think it is pretty good here. We've got it very good, and it's not lost on me either as a foreign national.
Oh, well, I'm born in England as well, so I go to England, every few years to go visit family, and England's grim in comparison to Australia, in all honesty. And that's no offence. I love England. But compared to Australia, it's chalk and cheese.
Do you consider yourself Australian?
No.
Well, hesitation means no.
No, I don't consider myself Australian, or out and out Australian. But the older I get, the more and more Australian I feel. Does that make sense?
No.
I support England in sport, but the more, I feel more Aussie than I am English. We got Jordan here, who, by the way, Jordan has brought a 1 kilogram tub of hummus in.
It is incredible. For an individual, you think about all the offerings at the supermarkets and, that they look to cater for families, and they also cater for people that live by themselves, and that is represented with the serving size and the size of the item. So if you want a little bit of hummus for an individual, oh look, there's a little pot there, ready made, cut up some vegetables, or can just dunk one and done. What single serving? Thanks for coming. They've also got the 1.25 kilo hummus, and Jordan's gone with that.
The 1 point, and it was funny because I said to him, mate, do you want some lunch? I'm going to grab some lunch. Anyone want anything? He said, nah, I'm good. I've got mine. And it was just cucumber and carrots with a 1 kilogram tub of hummus. It's not a lunch.
Yeah. But he's saying value for money. But I reckon it's one of those. It ends up costing you because you just chuck it out. My dad, right, supermarket in England called Asda, they used to do like the whoopsie corner or the whoopsie aisle, basically things were going out of date, and Dad would go shopping at night at 9 o'clock at night, come home with all this whoopsie stuff. It's like, Dad, it all goes off tonight. He's like, I'll throw it in the freezer, son, and then put it in the freezer and never use it. It's like, it's sometimes it's only a bargain if you use it. There's no point in saying, I got this this pizza is about to go. I got it. It was £5, and now I've got it for £1. Yeah, but Dad, it's going in the freezer, and it's never going to get eaten. So You've not saved £4. You've donated £1 to Asda. Like, what are you doing?
And he's got 4 days to eat the hummus. So it's a kilogram of hummus. Maybe we'll put in our socials on the story, the hummus, if you're interested. But he's got 4 days to eat it. That's 250 grams of hummus per day.
Yeah.
Because it's got to be consumed within 4 days of opening.
If you subscribe to that, like what it says on the packet, sometimes you've got to gamble. Sometimes it's worth, if the milk's out of date, got to have a little sniff of the milk.
Yeah, have a little sniff of it. I think you can roll the dice. I roll the dice on Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt, that goes off quick, man. But it's like it actually is fine for a long time.
Yeah. I wonder why once it's opened, it then increases is it air exposure?
I don't know. We should probably create some sort of device that allows things to be opened, and that can be our buy around's main revenue driver.
Yeah, I think with eggs, you can put them in water.
Eggs are fine. Eggs are open. They're open basically, aren't they?
No, but they have a date on them. But I think you're supposed to put them in water, and if they rise, they're all good. If they sink, throw them off. But
interesting. It reminds me, I can't tell this story, but you can do that with something else if it's good. But I won't tell that story on here. It's not appropriate. But we should say
you've got me intrigued.
I can't
now, mate,
say it though.
No, okay, don't worry. All right, okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's leave that one behind the scenes. Oh, but we could maybe mention it on the Patreon.
Patreon, we could mention it on. We definitely could. So the Patreon is going to be live now if you're listening, and there's a ton of content. You're basically going to get 2 bonus shows a week. That's 2 full shows.
2 full shows.
One will be dropped on Monday, and it will be a James Graham question and answer. So if you're on the Patreon, you get to ask Jimmy any questions from the round of footy. So that will be the Monday edition, and then you'll also get an episode on Friday, which is going to be a lot of extra footy chat, obviously, but also you're going to get some non-footy stuff in there as well. Some life stuff. You're going to get to go deep inside the mind of James Graham.
I look at other sports, both the serious side and the funny side of sports.
Yeah.
From the Winter Olympics, the beef in the curling, the little extra finger touch from some of those curlers. Like we're going to have a deep dive into that. Also, interestingly, I was reading one of the British and Irish Lions players when he was KO'd by Sonny Bill, lied or basically memorised some words to say to the doctor so he passed the concussion test, and have a little bit of a chat around things like that, and all things sports, because there's some interesting stories out there that are not too dissimilar to what's happening in the NRL that I think we can all learn from and have a bit of fun with.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's going to be good. And
also, basically, as part of that, monthly, there'll be a giveaway for one person in the Patreon gets to bring 3 mates and watch a show every month.
That will be cool. That is worth doing. We've had we've done it when we've hosted a few sports lunches to have one of the prizes there to come and sit in behind the scenes, which is always good to connect with our fans.
Definitely. Early access to merch, early access to live shows. So, no, ton of extra stuff in there. And we've gone, obviously, the cost of living is crazy at the moment. So, if you can't sign up, don't stress at all. But it is $5 a month. So, we wanted to make it basically a cup of coffee a month, gets you 2 extra shows.
Where'd you get your coffee from?
I get a cold brew coffee, so I pay around $6. I was
going to say that line gets thrown away. Oh, just for the price of a cup of coffee.
Well, how much is your coffee?
More than $5.
Yeah, right. You got almond milk. No, it's probably about. Do you know what? My coffee's probably about $6 these days. Cold brew.
Yeah.
So it's cheap. Well, mate, let's say this: it's cheaper than a cup of coffee a month.
I think it's cheaper than a cup of coffee.
And you get 2 full shows. Also, for those people listening who hate the fact that we have ads in our show, which is a funny gripe by people that happens a lot, is you actually get the episodes ad free on there as well. So if you don't like ads, that's something you can do. But the show today, Jimmy, let's start with Zac Lomax, because this morning he's been spotted at Rugby Australia HQ. Seems as though he might be heading to Rugby Union. Obviously, the news came out that he won't be going to the Melbourne Storm. He has come up with an agreement with the Parramatta Eels that they'd only control his future now until the end of 2028. So it's 1 year less than currently was agreed. There was a $750,000 transfer fee on the table from the Melbourne Storm. They also offered to take Ryan Madison off the Parramatta Eels' hands alongside a transfer fee. Ryan Madison rejected that opportunity to go to Melbourne. But it seems as though Zac Lomax's NRL career is over for now.
With Zac and this, being spotted at Rugby League, Rugby Union Australia, there's already been an offer from Rugby Union. So,
but maybe he wanted to stay in league, and now that door's shut, he's gone back to Union, and maybe he goes there for 2 years and then comes back to league when he no longer is at the beck and call of Parramatta.
So his contract finished or would have finished with the Parramatta Eels in 28.
Yep.
So he's available to play in 28. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's just 26 and 27, which is coincidentally with the World Cup. Maybe they'll look at that, but I don't know that much about Rugby Union, but it seems to me like they've gone for Suolihi and Angus Crichton in their centre partnership. So I don't actually know if there's any room for Zac.
Could he play on the wing,
maybe play on the wing, yeah, maybe. Which is, something that arguably NRL don't want to see, but...
Also, he might not make the wings spots because they've got Max Jorgensen, who's meant to be a superstar. I'm not a big Rugby Union guy, but he's meant to be an absolute superstar.
He's meant to be awesome.
And then they've got Mark Nwangani Tuasa as well.
Exactly.
And maybe he's not going to play fullback at Rugby Union.
Rugby Australia are going to put a bid in for him. Like, they're not going to subsidise any deal.
Probably not, no.
No. It was interesting wording. Like, it didn't go to court. Parra have knocked off a year, and they're still open to offers. I think we'll see some clubs really start to seriously consider. One of those teams that could probably do with him. I don't think he'd go back, but it'd be the Dragons.
Yeah, I was
like, you'd look at you look and go, who's screaming out for like an out and out winger? Be the Dragons, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be. But then would Zac go back? But also, would they want Zac back? It didn't end amazingly well, did it? But Shane Flanagan and Zac Lomax, I mean...
He was performing pretty well.
He was performing amazingly well.
He was performing very well.
Yeah.
And look, we don't want to see players of Zac's, of any ability, not be allowed access to the game, and I'm a bit torn between like the player movement, player power, clubs having too much control, but I don't think you can strip Zac Lomax of agency from this situation. Like, yeah, we want him in the NRL. Zac's someone who I've played with, I consider him a friend, I've got a lot of time for him, but he made this call to go to Rugby Union, and like the advice that he got was shocking, really. Like, if you look back at the timeline of events, why would you ask for a release before the tournament was announced?
Yeah, crazy.
Or the league was announced. Like, it just seems so badly advised, and I get how you can get your head turned. Look, I left one competition and came to another, so I understand that. But I did it when my contract had run out. I did have an opportunity to come prior to that, but I didn't pursue it for a number of different reasons. But Zac's in this. You think about him and his welfare and his family, and the things going through his head about, I'll go to court and it'll get sorted. And the Storm, they seem confident, and he'd be very dejected now. And I think he just wants to play some sort of sport.
Yeah.
If he doesn't get a deal sorted, I was thinking about this. Not that New South Wales are like short of outside backs, but they're not particularly like jam-packed of wingers. Imagine if Zac Lomax plays Origin.
That would be incredible.
But doesn't have an NRL team.
That would be incredible.
Because if Parra holds his registration, can he play? He can't play like New South Wales Cup either, can he?
Don't think so. No.
No, I don't think he could.
No, unless they gave him permission to play that. But he wouldn't be getting paid. So that would be like, like that would be incredible if Zac Lomax decided to do something like that. But
but New South Wales. So who have you got in front? You've got Carraz, Toto,
Fox is probably he's out at the moment. Obviously, broke his hand. Should be back for Origin, you would assume, unless something goes disastrous with his hand.
Nwangani Tuase.
Yep.
And then
Daniel Tupu maybe.
But
they got some options, don't they?
Yeah, they've got a couple of options.
Yeah, but that would be incredible. He'd get picked over all of them as he did last year. No, it's I flipped a little bit on this. Like at the start, I was like very much pro Parramatta, and I was, I very much thought they were in their right to do what they did. I'm starting to turn a little bit. Just now that you're like, well, Parramatta have won out of this. Parramatta have done well. They freed up the money. They brought in Jonah Pezzett and Brian Kelly. They were offered $750,000 for a player. That is an easily a fair enough transfer fee for a player. And they're still not letting it happen. Like this feels like now it's become more of a dick swinging contest and an ego thing rather than actually, doing what is the fair and just thing.
You know what, Charlie? I think you've hit the nail on the head there. Like, there's enough to the party that you think just let him go. You just wonder how bad the blood is between these two football clubs. Obviously, the 09 grand final comes to mind.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a huge part of it.
Like, is it almost a payback for that? Is it we can never do business with you guys? It's just a big no. Is this a similar situation to a Nick Politis and Isaac Moses? We are just done. We're not going to help each other out. There's no mutual beneficiaries here.
Yeah.
We're just going to play hardball.
Well, when you think when we had Hindy on here on the podcast, he was so anti the Storm. Like that, I think Parramatta fans will hate them. Especially the fact they still celebrate those trophies as well. Like that would annoy Parramatta every single time they do that. Like,
maybe that's the next play for Melbourne to come to the negotiating table. We'll take down any. I'm being serious here. I know you're laughing, thinking like this is a bit of a joke, but maybe Storm to get their man say, look, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll
never celebrate 09 again.
We won't celebrate 09 and any sort of recognition of that in the clubhouse will be deleted.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be more to it. I know I think I saw Ben Dobbin on a podcast say that Jason Riles and Frank Panisi don't have a great relationship. I don't know if that's true or not. But yeah, it's a shame because if it wasn't Melbourne, do you think he'd be back in the NRL now? If it was the Gold Coast Titans saying,
100%. Like, and again, Parra are within their rights. It's up to them to decide. You don't have to take the highest bid or the best quality player. You can dictate. They've got all the power. Really, if Zac and his team had their time over, the exit clauses would have looked very different.
Yeah.
With some actual fees, but obviously this is how convinced they were of it. Well, we don't care, because we're not going to need to use this. Are you laughing at the fly?
Yeah, the fly just came
in. They obviously felt very strongly that this was, put as many years as you like. I'm going to this new competition, but had they have structured it like more direct, like here's the fee, like we hold your registration at the price of $500,000. It can be bought out at.
Yeah. Terrible managerial advice from Clinton Tchaikovsky, who obviously manages not just Zac Lomax, but Ryan Pappenhausen as well. So clearly he's a common denominator there in the two players that are no longer in the NRL. But you look at all these other clubs that could go after him, and I don't think there's many other NRL clubs that...
Perth Bears, mate.
Perth Bears, but that's for next year. For this year.
I think...
And what are Perth Bears going to do, though, in terms of giving Parramatta a player back? They won't be able to.
No, but they could... They wouldn't have to accept as much money. And I think they would view Perth Bears as a different proposition to Melbourne Storm.
Because if he
even then, like, in terms of the FU, given, like, you allow Zac Lomax to join Parramatta... Sorry, to join the Perth Bears... 200k and no player in return. Like, what does that say to Melbourne?
Yeah.
Like, it's an even bigger slap in the face.
Yeah. There obviously must be some really bad blood between Parramatta and Zac as well.
Oh, you've got to assume,
this is they're not. They're obviously not friends, Parramatta and Zac Lomax. So that's
mate, you can look at the situation and probably empathise with Parra there, because they did a lot to aggravate for his release to come to Parra from the Dragons, and then a year of football in him, and then he gets now you want something even better.
Yeah,
and maybe they've found out that he's been talking to them for longer than what we've known.
When you look through the teams that could make a play there for this year, like the Knights, well, do they really need him? Dom Young, and they got Dom Young, Marju, and they've got like enough outside backs there already. Especially in the centres, they've got Best and Gagai. I mean, the team that I thought that could maybe make a play, because that is the Cowboys, because they've got obviously Burns and Tuolangi at the back, and then in the centres they've got Tom Chester played for them on the weekend. Could they?
Maybe.
They've got a lot of back rowers, and if you look in their front row as well, they've maybe got Griffin Neame. Could you let him go to Parramatta? Would Parramatta want him? Maybe. The other issue as well is Parramatta's sort of spent the money. So you'd have to have, like, it becomes really hard. Melbourne was the perfect situation where they had the cap to absorb like Zac Lomax perfectly, whereas not many other of these clubs do.
Yeah. I think the NRL will be obviously they're in the commission run the team in Perth. I think they'll be moving heaven and earth to get him in, because he'd be that marquee guy, wouldn't he? We've spoken at length before about how the Perth Bears are assembling a solid-looking team of some character builders, some people to lay the foundation of the club moving forward. A number of players from the Sharks, Leeds Rhinos, Penrith Panthers, all really, strong sides. We look at the recent success, or like top 4 finishes from the Sharks. Penrith speaks for themselves. Leeds is a strong club, so you've got players coming from there, but there's no marquee. Zac is put him on the billboards. He'd be the bad news Bears. Just lead into that. Like, have a guy that everybody else in the NRL maybe loves to hate, but he's your man in Perth.
This podcast is brought to you by NordVPN, and as you can see, I'm here in a hotel room. I'm away in Las Vegas, Nevada, but I am protected, all thanks to NordVPN. The hotel Wi-Fi, great, thank you so much, Results World, but I want to be safe, so I'm using NordVPN. When I am away, I like to stay in touch with everything happening back home, which is now Australia, but also England as well, and I get to use all the apps, all the streaming services with one click of a button. In fact, no, I don't even need to click. It is on 24/7, 365 for me, NordVPN, because I don't want to worry about any of those people that are trying to get my sensitive information, my password, my login, my banking details. As we all know, our lives are on our phone now. So why not protect it with NordVPN? I often wish I could be in 2 places at once, Sydney, Liverpool, but I can't be. But I can be with NordVPN. I get to switch my location at the click of a button, which gives me advantages to be in 2 places at once. We all know we've got that overseas friend. Have you seen that show? Can't get it. Well, yes, you can. If you've got NordVPN, you can hide your location, change your location, and watch all the shows that those overseas friends get to enjoy that you don't. So to get the very best deal from NordVPN, head to nordvpn.com/James Graham, where you get 4 free months with a 2-year plan and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Click on the link in the show notes.
The Eels are now also one of the front runners for Mitch Barnett, which is big news that David Riccio broke, that they're in the race for him. I think the Dragons are in the mix as well. The Broncos are in the mix. David Riccio doesn't think the Knights are one of the teams in the mix, which is quite interesting. But do you like him for the Eels, Jimmy?
Yeah, well, the Eels weren't shy about their pursuit of Keon Kaloma-Tangi, were they? So, that they've clearly identified that middle of the park requires strengthening with some outside help. So yeah, I think Mitch Barnett would fit that bill. Strange that Newcastle on in. I mean, we watched them on the weekend, and there's some really good, young, exciting players there, and we all get a bit carried away with the Knights are back. And I've had that conversation myself around tipping them for the spoon and just going, can I revisit that tip of one game? I mean, it is only one game, but it's a huge step in the right direction.
Yeah,
for the Knights, I think they'd be. I can't believe they've got to be in the conversation.
Well, they're in the mix for him, but it's whether or not Mitch Barnett is wants to go there. I don't know if he does, which is interesting. His family's in Taree. But Parramatta, the Dragons, I mean, you spoke to Shane Flanagan in Vegas, and he didn't shy away from the fact that the Dragons would love to get him. You know, he spoke about adding 2 marquees. Now, he's not a marquee, but it looks like Jake Cavarillo is probably going to end up at the Dragons, which would be a good buy for them.
Yeah, they're in the market still. They're not the finished article, but by any stretch. You know, the Barnett coming into the market, I think we'll be joined by some other players. You know, round 1 is great. Like, everyone's super excited, but there's some players there that have been left out of there now 19. There's also some players that will be on an extended bench and not get any game time that will be looking around and going. Like, I think one of the consequences of this 6-man bench is the 2 players that don't play, how they feel. Like, it's a bit different if you're the 18th man, because you sat there thinking, I might not get on. And maybe that will be the feeling, but 2 players to have kitted out and maybe even had your half-time injection or your injection 30 minutes before kickoff, you're all strapped, you're all ready to go, and you're done. Like, there's going to be some disgruntled footballers out there that would affect the psyche of some players, and no doubt they'll be speaking to management and family about what their future holds. I mean, I've looked at the Canberra side and 3 names just and this is a compliment to Canberra. It isn't a knock on them. It's a compliment about how their quality of roster has improved over the years. Owen Patty not playing in the 19. Matt Timoko and Matty Nicholson. Yeah. 3 players who, like, watching personally, really, really enjoyed. Now, I think it's been Timoko is going to play some reserve grade.
He's in reserve grade
to get his match fitness up, but
not just match fitness. I think there's huge defensive concerns around him as well from the Canberra Raiders.
But there'll be some teams that'll be looking at him going, We'll have a bit of that. Maybe we'll reach out, see how he's feeling.
You know, the fascinating one with Matty. So Matty Nicholson, there was talk about him being injured and whatnot. He's playing reserve grade anyway. The craziest part is Noah Martin has not just leapt him, but he's also leapt Zach Hosking.
Yes.
So Noah Martin has gone from, you know, one of the standout players in New South Wales Cup last year for the Canberra Raiders, and this guy's going to be a star of the future. He's got the great mullet, and he scored 14 tries, I think, in New South Wales Cup last year, which is, for a back rower, just incredible. So he's got that right back row spot with Hudson Young obviously on the left. The interesting thing as well with Canberra Raiders is Ethan Strange is switching sides to the right side. Okay. So Ethan Sanders is going to play left and Ethan Strange is going to play on the right. So he's taken Fogarty's side, and the main reason for that is Ethan Sanders is obviously a left foot kicker.
Yeah, it's quite the shuffle there. Congratulations to Noah Martin, who must have had an amazing preseason. Yeah. There's some serious competition there in the edge back row.
Oh, yeah. Mate, one of arguably the most stacked NRL side for back rows. Yeah. Well, now is this the Zac Lomax team? Is Canberra Raiders the Zac Lomax team? Could they let one of these back rowers go to the Parramatta Eels? And do they need a Zac Lomax in the centres, perhaps? You got Simi Sasangi, who has been fantastic whenever he's filled in, and Sebastian Chris.
Yeah, I mean, the Raiders are probably having this conversation. The other one that screams out at me is Owen Patty. Looking at the dummy halves in the NRL as it stands, I've got Harry Grant in a league of his own, like an absolute league of his own. And, further down the pecking order, then you kind of got this crop of Coruscant, Brayley from the Sharks, Marshall King, Cheese,
Robson,
yeah, of course, Reed Marnie. Like, you've got a crop there, and, in 2 weeks' time, you pick one name out of them who's the better of that pack, and then 2 weeks later you change your mind. They're all sort of jumbling around. Like I say, Reed Marnie in a world of his own, but a league of his own. But Owen Patty, what I've seen from him in limited exposure to NRL, he looks the goods.
He looks amazing. He moves a bit like Harry Grant as well. He's kind of got a similar style.
Yeah, he looks the goods. And obviously, Canberra are in this predicament of they've signed Brayley. Tommy Starling shot the lights out last year. Like, I don't think they saw that coming. He was sensational, and he deserves all the plaudits he can get. But I don't think they were planning for that. They obviously signed Brayley, but then Owen Patty is that young player. Is he the next Izzy Katoa? And I'm talking about Perth Bears, where they start making. He's signed till 28.
Yeah,
like he's signed till 28.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things can happen between now and then, but if this Canberra side, as it currently stands, plays and wins like they did last year, he's not going to be able to get in. And for every success story of things, that there's always that the couple of lads that miss out, and they're looking like, well, I should be there.
Yeah. So my understanding of the Owen Patty situation is that Owen Patty is a very understanding of the decision and has not kicked stones about the decision at all. He obviously played every game last year, Owen Patty, most of them off the bench, and he was getting about 15 minutes a game, something around that. The decision for him to go play New South Wales Cup is about his long-term development. They have a choice of they can keep playing in 15 minutes a game, but what's going to make him the better player in the long run? Is it playing 15 minutes a game in the NRL, or is it playing 65 minutes a week in the New South Wales Cup setup? And their thoughts at the moment is that New South Wales Cup is best for him, and I think Owen Patty is understanding of that.
But then if Starling and Brayley are fit all year...
Yeah, he's going to play reserve grade all year.
He's going to play reserve grade all year, which is then going to lead, whether Canberra fans like it or they don't, there's going to be teams that they'll be getting, 2 stages removed from in his ear.
Yeah.
About coming to our football club. Like I said, look, like there's your 4 or 5 nines that, you could... But how many other sides are after quality dummy halves?
And you think
and you've got a new franchise team in.
Exactly. That's why I would love the loan system to come in and be really, really a more commonly used thing in the NRL, because the more we expand, there is just a limit of talent.
Yeah.
And you can't have guys like Owen Patty playing New South Wales Cup.
Or Matty Nicholson.
Because they're both regular NRL first graders. They're both players that will make an impact on any NRL club they're in. So how can we have this system where we're continuing to expand, but then have talent like that playing reserve grade? I think we can't. I think we have to have the loan system brought in as soon. And I know we can use it, and there's ways around it. You sign this contract, you do this, whatever. But I think you should just have a loan set up where the club pays the salary, or you work out a salary system that works. And yet, if you get injuries, you can recall them and you bring them back. Like, treat it like the football loan system, like the exact same setup. We need to have it, especially with expansion coming.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea, Charlie. I like it, in fact.
Yeah, because, right now this Perth Bears team is a bit average.
Well, we've said they need some stars. I don't think they're going to loan in any stars, but if my team needs a 9, and even it might be that Owen Patty through injury or suspension gets the spot over Brayley and Starling, and then one of those guys becomes the Owen Patty of, well, hang on a minute, Starling's not in. Like, we'll go after him. Or Brayley's not in, we'll go after him. You've room for 2 hookers and an absolute max in your starting 19 as it is now.
Yeah.
So one of those guys is going to be left out. There's an oversupply, and with back rowers, and even about this potential trade with someone like Lomax. Canberra are in a great position here. Like they've got all the stocks, and maybe they can use some of that to improve and trade. But they're going to have their hands full keeping everybody happy. And I don't know Owen Patty personally, but your reports are he's fine with it. But look, we know how quickly and people can change their mind, and how fickle it is, and how we all like to think we're in control of our own destiny. Just like Zac Lomax, like the call might come through a third party for someone, a feeler about, and we know, look, whether we like it or we don't, we know it happens that some clubs will be inadvertently reaching out in a month if this situation stays the same.
Yeah. I think the Canberra Raiders are a premiership contender, and I think the $20 price tag they got on Ladbrokes is a bit disrespectful, if I'm being honest. And if I was a team shopping, I'd be going to Canberra, and I'd be going to try and find players, because it's not just the hooker situation. Like, Joe Roddy is going to be an absolute superstar down the track. He's playing reserve grade this week, and I know he's young, but I'll be trying to get him. They got this big front rower in their setup called Jake Clydesdale, who I went and saw the Canberra Raiders game. He's 6'7", 8", and just big and powerful, and brother of Adam Clydesdale, who used to play in the NRL as well. But Adam Clydesdale was a little hooker, so
yeah.
Don't know what's going on there with those genes. But they got Kobe Black then in the halves. Matt Tomoko, Chevy Stewart's playing New South Wales Cup for them. Like Matty Nicholson. Like, there's so many good players. If I was a team shopping, I'd go shopping Canberra, and it's why they're a contender, this team, because they've got depth everywhere in all positions. Credit to the Canberra Raiders and just how far they've come in 12 months. I think with the young players internally, even they would have said, this is the year that they're going to make the top 4. And obviously with last year's minor premiership, they surprised almost everybody. But you're right, there's some very, very talented, there's some very high quality players that won't be playing first grade, but believe you me, like the recruitment managers, the roster list makers will be angling, because there's some players there that will be being told by people around them that they're too good to be playing cup, and they should be in with the big boys, and there's genuine options to join. Absolutely. This round is incredible, by the way. It's opening round of footy. Yes, we've had 2 games. Storm Eels Thursday night. So much to this game. Jonah Pezzett against the Storm, the Zac Lomax Cup. I wanted to ask you, with all the stuff that's happening with Zac Lomax, it's very much executives v executives. Yeah. It doesn't feel like a player issue. If you were a player at one of these clubs, would you care about this Zac Lomax thing? Would it impact your preparation at all or performance? It shouldn't. But I think if you Parra, some of the players would be maybe sledging the Storm players, being like, I think Zac was going to take your spot, wasn't he? Or you were the guy, or hey, the redacted name in the court, so it's, I've heard it was you, Like, I'd be going to Harry Grant. You know why they're pushing so hard to get it redacted? They want to flick you. Yeah. Can you believe that? Mate, I'm telling you. Ask them. So did you notice how short it was? It looked like it looked like 5 letters, Harry Grant. Save your coats. So you think it will be a more spicy game then? I think there'll be an undercurrent there, and the fans there as well. Like, it's sparked some bad blood now between these clubs. The fans will certainly feel it and bring that energy and bring that, like, bit of hate, bit of spite. Yeah, absolutely. I think that'll be a factor. We were at this game round 1 last year where Eels just got absolutely pumped. Sunday afternoon. Sunday Arvo. This time round, do you see it going any different? No, I don't. You think Storm win well? The Storm round 1 record is no fluke. Yeah.
absolutely no fluke. And I think this side, after what they went through last year, being so close, like so close, almost as close as the Broncos in 23. Not quite that extent, but not far behind that. I can't see this side having a mental slump. I think that they grow from that. I really do. I think, and the spine of Grant, Hughes, Munster is going to be too difficult to contain.
And Suifalongo slots in at the back there.
I think that was to be expected.
Was to be expected, yeah. But you like him as a player?
Excitement machine.
Yeah.
And that's, barring a couple of NRL fullbacks, that seems to be where the trend is going.
Yeah.
That really exciting, like, goose step, beat a man, get on the outside of a man. That's where the fullback position is heading. Speed and excitability.
Yeah.
You've got your Dylan Edwards, who's a different type of fullback that really contributes to his team. You've got Connor Tracy in that same sort of mould. But the majority of really good fullbacks are all super exciting, and Suifalongo fits that bill.
Their back row looks very different to the team that won the premiership. You've got Joe Chan on one edge. Joe Chan, the reports are he's got the right edge, so he's basically taking Eli Katoa's spot. Then you've got Lasati on the other edge and Alec McDonald at lock, because no Trent Liero, no Sean Bloor at the moment. They're out with injury. Is that a worry at all?
Not for Melbourne.
Not for Melbourne.
Because it's system-based defence. It's a lot of systems there. They've got some out of the jack in the box, pull the rabbit out the hat style of play with Grant and Munster to go and just break games open. Hughes, put him in that category as well. But when you're those players in those positions at that football club, your job is relatively simple. I
accidentally said I'm injured for Liera. He's obviously just suspended for the first 2 rounds, I meant to say. But you like the Storm comfortably in this one.
I do. But big surprise, no Jack Hetherington. Big surprise.
Now, their bench has Wishart, Cooper Clark, who's this young front rower who's going to be a star, Tui Kamikamika, Davi Moale, and then there's Preston Conn, who was their Jersey Flag Player of the Year, I think, last year. But yeah, no Hetherington. Very interesting.
It is. I thought he was Project Bellamy player all day.
But maybe he's going to come good. Maybe he's dealing with a niggle. We don't know.
Hopefully.
I think he'll be in there. Like, I hope so. I'm really hoping Hetherington finds his feet there. The second game, then we move to Friday. Warriors against the Chookies. Now, there's so much to this game as well. You got DCE's first game. The Roosters team looks as stacked as ever. You got Blake Steep starting there at lock. Obviously, Radley suspended for the first chunk of the season. But the Warriors... Now, the Warriors, Chanel, Harris Tavita and Tanner Boyd in the halves. And I hate that Leka Halasima on the bench. I just want to see that man start every week.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'd like to see him be 80-minute wrecking ball. Yeah, looking at this, it's a tough place to go. But I think the Roosters should have enough to be clinical and be professional. And it is going to be all eyes on the 6 and 7 and how they can combine and everything they do or they don't do. But there's enough to like about this Roosters side to say we go over to New Zealand and come away with the 2 points in round 1. Like, yeah, there's too much there for the Roosters, the finishing ability. You mentioned the halves there for the Warriors, and it doesn't scream breaking this team open.
I disagree with you. I think Warriors win this game in an upset.
Do you?
Yeah, I think they do. I think it's going to take a bit of time for DCE and Sam Walker to click, and I think the Warriors home game, that packed house, that incredible atmosphere, I think they might get him in round 1.
Oh man, you can see it happening.
Yeah,
but I just think the Roosters will just have too much.
Can't wait for that one. Broncos Panthers as well. The second game, geez, amazing opening weekend of footy. The Broncos, they got to bounce back after the World Club Challenge. It's the first NRL game since the Payne Haas staff. The Panthers, Nathan Cleary's playing. He's avoided suspension. They want some revenge from the prelim final.
No Liam Martin, which is a shame. He'd throw some spice in the mix. But, yeah, this absolute sellout as well for Suncorp. It's going to be exciting. I think there's a lot of eyes on Brisbane. And there's a lot of people that can't wait for them to fail and hoping they fail. And this Brisbane attitude amongst their fans is very much, bring it on. It's us against you. Like they hate, the rest of the comp seems to hate us because we're successful. So let's have it. Just taking things slightly off track. Not too dissimilar to what's happening with the Dragons fans now. And I forgot to mention this in the show, but Dragons are gutted they didn't get the 2 points, but now there's a narrative amongst their fans that's really brought them out the woodwork. A narrow loss in a big game and against a local rival, like this has ignited Dragons fans. They are like, the league don't want us to win. They want to favour the Dogs, and it's brought out this buzz and this excitement, this passion, this fight. Like we're back against the corner here. Let's fight. And it's interesting that Coach Flanagan, within 12 months, saying we won't win the spoon, so we won't win the comp. But now he's got this situation where it seems like this is really, bizarrely, had they have won, they're all cheering and they're all saying, yeah, we beat the Dogs over in Vegas and all this, but they didn't. They lost in what people are calling controversial circumstances, and we can debate whether it was a strip or a knock on. For me, 50-50. Awful if you're Dragons, brilliant if you're Dogs. Dragons fans don't think that. That they are up, they are about, and it's this bizarre to hear me to anybody to hear this and sum the situation up. But this could be the catalyst for the Dragons fans really getting behind their side this year.
Yeah,
and we'll change track to Broncos, but their fans have got their bee in a bonnet there. Where they're like, what? Well, hang on, you should be celebrating us, and already you can't wait to knock us down. Like you've got a premiership winning coach, and some of you know, all you Sydney media types. That's what we're being referred to as.
Yeah.
You're just jealous. You can't celebrate us because we're in Brisbane, and it like that narrative is coming.
Yeah.
Well, it's not. It's there,
mate. There was like 200 bad comments about us when we spoke about the Payne Haas situation. And I think it is the reality, though, that the Payne Haas is over Michael Maguire and some of the other players are over the methods. And there's a reason Payne Haas is leaving.
Exactly.
So it's not a made up.
Yeah.
Like no one's here making it up to try and create drama.
If he hadn't signed with someone else,
yeah,
and it was, and if like his future still hadn't been sorted out, like maybe you drop it, but. I mean, come on.
It's obvious, but I think it's going to be a really tough test for them. They've come back from England. They'll be a bit wounded. They've had a really intense preseason training session. They've had, so much go on there at the Broncos. Who are you liking in this game?
Yeah, it's funny that preseason thing, and many people were up in arms saying like, oh well, I what about the servicemen and women? And the Broncos players get to go to Toowoomba. It's not that long. 2 weeks, what I'd give. But it's excessive in the world of NRL.
Yeah.
And, you've got teams in America that, go all over the country there for extended periods of time. You got, I was speaking to some friends, actually, the preseason tournament in Arizona. A lot of players have a house there because they move. They're obviously minted, but they'll move around in order for their preseason schedule because a lot of the places it's too cold to go to their practice facilities.
So they do summer camps away.
Yeah. So they'll do like extended stints away, and that's the life of an athlete. And nobody complains there. But it's just because it's so different, and it's just that little bit longer than what most people or most teams would be accustomed to. So there is something there. I get it. Most people would cut off their right arm to have a chance in the NRL preseason, but when you're in when you're outside the cultural norms of an NRL pre-season, it turns heads. It raises eyebrows. What are we doing here? Yeah. Why are we here for so long? Why am I getting woken up at 4 o'clock in the morning on the last day? All that sort of jazz.
I'm not coming. I'm not doing it. I'm going to say no now.
I'm going somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm going somewhere else. I'm going to the Bunny.
Because of you.
Yeah. You like the Panthers in this one or the Broncos?
I do like the Panthers, actually. They've slipped under everybody's radar. Not really spoken about. I've still got them as the Premiership favourites in my eyes. It's a big game for them, but it's one that I think they've been looking forward to for a long time. And I think with Brisbane's recent travels, that they're more gettable than they would be usually.
Do you think Penrith are going to be a lot more focused on the start of the year this year than they were last year? Or they started very slow. I mean, it's well documented they were sitting last after 8 rounds, 9 rounds, whatever it was. But I think they're going to put way more focus on the start of the season this year.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got to. They realised they were the architects of just how difficult last season became. It was on them, and had they have got a couple of extra wins, it wouldn't have been in that situation.
Ben Hunt's at the 14, so that's always going to be his role to start the year with Corey Paik starting at dummy half. Do you like Ben off the bench?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, just open the old-fashioned softening up period.
Yeah, let Corey Paik handle that.
Yeah, let him do. Just get service to your forwards and your outside backs, and then when Ben comes on, you can start to play.
We moved to Saturday. No 3 o'clock game, obviously, on Saturday because of the Vegas game. So it's another fantastic game. It's Sharks Titans. It's Josh Hannay against his former club. It's a huge game. I mean, the Titans fans are starting to believe now. You're hearing Titans fans talk about top 8. I think Luke Keary's got the Titans in his top 8. But this does feel like a huge test in the opening game, Jimmy, against a Sharks team, which I think are going under the radar.
Yeah, I think Sharks are looking at this season going, this is our last together as a group. That's an unfortunate reality of professional sport. I think this is the big danger game for the Sharks. I'm really interested to see how they apply themselves. Not how they play, but how they apply themselves. Because we've seen in not too dissimilar situations, the Sharks take on a team and either undermanned or lower down the ladder, and after 20 minutes, it's like they're having the chat, boys, come on, and they can't quite get themselves back into the contest, and before you know it, they're the victim of an upset.
Yeah.
But I think they'd have spoken about that this year.
Campbell's out with a hamstring injury, so Lockie Ilias slots in at the 7. Really interested to see how Lockie Ilias goes.
Talking of moving the deck chairs and shuffling the deck. If the Titans play well with Ilias, I know Campbell's just resigned, but we've spoken about the Raiders having 3 hookers. Titans have got 3 fullbacks.
Yep.
Like if Ilias, like he's like can't believe his luck. He's going right. I've got this chance now. Like I was probably not going to be set. I've got the chance now, and he'll back himself. The huge opportunity for Lockie Ilias. That gives some more hope for the Titans. Obviously Campbell being out, but Ilias is in there going, well, I can create a storm with who needs to go because I'm keeping hold of my 7 jersey.
Exactly. And then it might not be Campbell, it could be Brimson.
Yeah, exactly.
That's available to leave. And if you think about the Parramatta Eels, obviously they think Joash Papali might be a 5'8" for them in the future, but they've only got Pezzett for a year. So they've got to figure out their half situation for 2027 Parramatta at some point. So, yeah, who knows? In that game, though, who do you like?
Sharks, mate.
Sharks, okay. Yep. Now, the Jamal Fogarty Cup takes place on Sunday. He goes up against his former club. You know, this team, both these teams look really good. I mean, a lot of people tip in Manly for the spoon, but when you look at their team on paper, there's a lot to like about it.
There is. Who's the favourites in this one?
They're evens on Ladbrokes. $1.90, $1.90.
I think that's about right. Like it's hard to separate these two teams, and for different reasons. But I'm going to go the Raiders. I think they need a win. Like I know that sounds strange saying it round one, but after loss to finish last year in finals, I think they really need to start this campaign with a win.
Yeah,
and I think Ricky Stewart will be into them about we're not going to be playing catch up. We're not going to be the Broncos of 24. We know how good we can be. We go to Brookvale and we get the win.
Yeah. Huge advantage for them in the middle, it seems, with Joe Tarpany and Josh Papali'i up against Paseka and Takiahau. And then you've got, obviously, Big Red Corey Horsburgh against a wounded Jake Trbojevic. And then on the bench, guys like Ata Mariota, who's a really underrated player.
Yeah.
Mariota. He doesn't get much love because of how stacked the Raiders team is, but he's a great player. Smithies, Hosking.
But we've spoken about the three players not playing.
Exactly.
But by naming those three that aren't in the team, it shows you how good the players that are in. I think we're Manly delighted to have Paseka back, but you'd be naive to think that it will take some or not take some time for him to get up and about again.
Mm-hmm. Joey Walsh is in the 14 for Manly. Is he the guy who's going to replace Luke Brooks at some point in this season? Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a funny one, this extended bench and some of the players that get put on there, and
it is annoying my OCD a little bit. Like, I just want to know who's playing. I kind of hate it.
Well, also there's kind of this. Or where does he fit in? It's like, well, there's no guarantees, and like I say, those players are going to warm up, get ready, get their injections, get all their strapping on, and maybe for nothing. And yeah, it's like Joey Walsh he can't come on for Fogarty.
No,
like in his debut game for the club, and then if he goes on for Brooks, then you know where that story goes.
Dane Laurie not playing New South Wales Cup, but in the 18 jersey. Does that mean he's maybe going to feature off the bench? Like, it's.
It's going to take some getting used to this.
This
19-man squad. But I'm going to go the Raiders in this one. Bit of a semi-upset.
It's not an upset.
I
think Raiders should be the favourites. I'm actually going to go Manly in the upset. I was going to claim upset going for Manly.
Yeah. All right, fair dues.
All right, last game of the weekend. This is where we're going to go head-to-head in our Ladbroke same-game multi. So
yes.
I'm not sure if you've got yours ready.
I am locked and loaded, Charlie. All
right.
We're going to do this every week,
We're going to do this every week, yeah.
Our same-game multi.
Yeah. I can't remember if I got mine or not, but we'll put on screen the tracker now if either of us got it. But we'll go with you first, Jimmy.
So, obviously, it's Dolphins v Souths. I'm going to go Finns -1.5 into my favourite feature, the duos, Hammer and Herbie, for 2 or more tries between them, and over 43.5 total game points.
So I just want to make sure I've got that correctly here. You've got the Dolphins
-1.5, which is the line at the moment.
Points over
43.5.
And the duos?
The duos. I love my duos, Charlie.
I certainly do, mate. My one, I've got the Dolphins winning, but I'm just going head-to-head. And I'm going to go David Fafita anytime and Selwyn Cobbo anytime. So the two debutantes for their respected clubs. $15.80 on the Ladbrokes app, which is fan-bloody-tastic.
I actually kind of like that, Charlie. Well done.
Thank you. I call that the debutante bet. And I hope it is my debut win of the season as well. But obviously on Ladbrokes, remember always to gamble responsibly. Now, Jimmy, this game, the Wayne Bennett Cup, there's so much to this game. I think one of these two teams makes the top 8. One of them misses out when the season's said and done. How do you see this game going?
I don't know if there's room for both of these sides. It is such a stacked competition where it's so difficult to predict the 8, and Canberra are a timely reminder of many pundits getting things wrong and what they produced last year. Who's going to be the Canberra Raiders? Is there going to be a Canberra Raiders of 2025 in 2026? Look, Souths need to improve. Their injuries again with no Jairo, no Brandon Smith. Humphreys is missing for a couple of weeks, suspended.
Yep.
I'm still still not 100% sold on South's middle. Obviously, Cam Murray back, Keon and Totola looks great on paper, but I think they're a fraction light there.
Mm-hmm.
So look, I'm definitely taking Dolphins in this one. I think the Dolphins are going to shoot the lights out this year if the stars align, like that side on paper. Flegler back in the NRL, like how good is that? The feel good story around him, like.
And I love that he's starting as well.
Oh man, just get
him
in there.
Yeah.
I know off on watching him on the sideline in the trials, I felt bad for him. I was like, just get the boy on, let him go and get some action. Delighted for him. Nobody likes to see journeys go that way, but
because mate, you did a podcast with him, and I remember he was almost in denial a little bit. If you go back and watch the podcast, he was so adamant. And at the time, I remember the podcast finished, and you and me sort of spoke about after, and we're like, oh, he doesn't really know the situation he's in truly yet. But he was right. We were wrong.
Well, you kind of got the sense that he was in limbo.
Yeah.
And most of the time when you're in limbo, it doesn't seem to work out well. And the amount of the thing that surprised me about the injury, it was like he was doing everything he can or everything he could. It was still basically, it was down to a little bit of luck, a bit of the unknowns, and everything he was trying to do to stimulate the nerve growth. It was like there's no guarantees it was working.
Yeah.
And when you hear news like that, and doctors maybe not letting you back and all this sort of stuff, it seemed like the writing was on the wall.
Yeah,
but
he still didn't have feeling at that
Yeah.
point. And this was so far after the incident. Like you and me after were like talking about steroids and things like that. Like, should he try this? Should he try
I thought
alternate?
I thought retire from the sport, go and find some medical help that you can't receive, clean yourself up, and then come back into the testing pool. But yeah, good on him. I'm really pleased for Flegler being back playing NRL. We know his capabilities when he's at his absolute best. He'll have some lung issues throughout this game, no doubt. But delighted to see him back. Morgan Knowles making his NRL debut. Congratulations, Morgan Knowles. Looking forward to seeing him come and mix it with the big boys here in the NRL.
He's in my Supercoach team. I got him in for my Supercoach team, Morgan Knowles.
Nice.
Drafted him in the 17th round of a 16-man comp. So I hope he goes well for me, because that'd be an absolute steal if he goes well.
He will, mate. He won't let anybody down. I think all eyes will be on Broncos Penrith Friday night. If you're going to pick one game of NRL to watch, that would be it. But I'm super excited about Sunday's game. Like, really, really excited.
We're going to be there as well.
We're going to be there,
in the flesh at Suncorp Stadium will be great. I'm pumped for it. The thing, just going back to Flegler for a second, that limbo period, that must be the hardest, because it's not, at least with an ACL injury, like, oh yeah, I'm back in 9 months. I do this, I do that, I'm back. The not knowing, and Jai Arrow's going through it at the moment, and he doesn't know what's going on, Jai. I know there was some reports come out this week that it's looking positive for Jai, but then the press statement came out a couple of days later from the Bunnies. It says he's going through a 6-week treatment with the medical doctor, and hopefully they'll know more by that stage. I know that Jai doesn't know what's happening yet, and he's obviously concerned, and in this limbo period, it must be so tough.
It is, and take yourself out of the world of professional sport. Even there'd be many people out there that go to a doctor with a problem and not knowing it, and they're waiting on the test results, and obviously that limbo of what can I do about it, and some people. I've heard people, they actually get relief even though it's bad news, or there's bad news in a time frame. It's better than being in the unknown. I can actually do something about it. I can, I can be proactive. I can either get my house in order or plan things for the future, or within different time frames have some bucket list items to do. Like, some people get horrible news, but I've heard it before where it's better to know than to not know. Like, being in limbo is and the unknown is a horrible situation.
I think there's some study. It's the worst thing for the human psyche,
Yeah.
basically the unknown. So, yeah, great to see him back. You've got the Dolphins in a close one
Sure do.
in this game.
Not necessarily in a close one.
Okay, you got the Dolphins
Yeah,
in this
I've got
one.
the Dolphins,
Okay,
yeah.
I've got the Dolphins as well, so I'm with you. We'll see whose same game multi gets up. Maybe both of ours do. Who
Maybe
knows?
both of
Mine's
ours
paying
do.
about 5 times yours, so it would be a better bet. Listener questions to finish the show. Now, Patreon, important to say, we will still be doing listener questions on the main show. However, you'll only get one per week. If you do want to get your question answered, the best place to do it is going to be on the Monday.
That's right.
Patreon only show. Now, all the other shows are still here. It's just bonus content on the Patreon. $5 a month. Link in the bio to sign up.
Ad-free listening.
Ad-free listening. All that jazz. We've spoken about it.
Less than the price of a cup of coffee.
Exactly. Depending on what coffee you get. Maybe you're an espresso man. Maybe, that's...
Single espresso.
Single espresso. What's that these days? $3.70, I think.
T's and C's do apply. Like, we're not going to go, oh, well, hang on, I got this.
Yeah, I've got a coffee here that's only $2.
yeah.
You said less. No, it's $5 a month. $1.25 a week. All right. Listener questions. So this one comes from Zim on Instagram. DM. I love this question, by the way. Instead of buying the NRL, could the NRL just start their own English league and all the teams that are on board jump in? The small teams that are providing the current roadblocks can join or go F themselves. That's from Zim.
Instead of buy the Super League, you mean? So instead of the NRL buying the Super League, they just start their own comp. Mate, that would be Super League-esque.
Yeah.
Well, I think, to be fair, I don't think it's a massive secret that the NRL, if they take full governance of the Super League, which it's that or it's not, they would rebrand it as NRL Europe and look to push the brand of NRL International, NRL Europe, and NRL Australasia or Pacific or whatever it would be, and that's how it would be marketed globally. So there'd be a rebranding anyway. So I mean, look, me and Luke spoke about it on Monday's show or Tuesday's show, and around the importance of this happening. The time frame is 3 months. I reckon that Zim could be onto something there. And I don't like saying this, but that observe, like, I came from the Super League, and when I was there, Wembley was sold out for Challenge Cup finals. Old Trafford was sold out for grand finals. The game was in a really good place. We attracted players like Jamie Lyon, David Violecki, Matt Gidley, Jason Kalis. There was some. I think Craig Smith came over. Matty Johns, like
Brian
Andrew
Fletcher.
Johns, Brian Fletcher. There's some top, to name but a few. Some amazing players playing in there. Some household names, and they give and even you had the best of the British there as well, like Sculthorpe, Farrell. Cunningham, Long, McDermott's, Simfield, like Gareth Ellis. He had some really strong footballers there. Jamie Peacock, Adrian Morley. Well, he was back and forth.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get my point. Anyway, since leaving, all I've seen in terms of all, let's call them well-being markers of a competition, I've seen the NRL in all well-being markers, generally speaking, go north. Like, it's not been an escalator up to where we are now. There's been numerous bumps in the road with player behaviour and different things within the game. But generally speaking, the sort of 2010, 11, 12 mark to where it is now in 2026, it is significantly higher in all well-being markers of the game. Now, some people may disagree with that and say, well, look, here's an issue that you haven't thought about. But generally speaking, it's gone up. And over in the Super League, all well-being markers from 2012 to now are down. And things that they would be looking for from a business case point of view or from a sporting case point of view, it's just not working.
Yeah.
It's just going south. And the only reason, and I say this, the only reason I can't see the owners voting for this is self-interest.
Yeah.
The only reason. It's not got the good of the game at the forefront of their decision, which I think should be. I think it's really difficult over there because it is ran differently. But I think if you actually genuinely care about the game, you let the NRL come in and you maybe look to, quote unquote, buy it back, whatever that looks like, but let the NRL run the game.
Absolutely. Let Peter V'landys run the game. Like, it's incredible what he's done with NRL, and NRL just keeps making further and further leaps forward. I mean, the NRL's now, I think, easily the most ambitious sporting league in Australia, easily. I hope they do. I wonder what teams would flip to this. I mean, I know St Helens are keen for the NRL to come in. I know that Leeds are keen. I know that Wigan are keen.
Well, you've basically
the big dogs are all keen.
You've got what you need there. Yeah. And you know what's London would be.
Yep. Oh, of course.
I think the Catalans Dragons would be.
Absolutely.
Toulouse would be. Like so. Yeah. You've got a decent nucleus there. Once you get 4 or 5 of the big ones, watch the others follow.
There you go. Save your money, NRL.
Maybe
do it on your own. Still,
like the legalities around that would be
the licenses and things like that.
Yeah, that would be. But again, if it's a totally rebranded competition, and also would the Rugby Football League or the Super League or Rugby League Commercial have enough to front the court case? I actually don't know if they would.
Yeah, it would be. I hope it gets maybe resolved before that, but that is an option there.
We all hope it gets resolved before that, and common sense prevails, and the good of the game prevails.
Yeah. Another question from Connor Crossland. He says, how does the game in England improve? Is that maybe by letting the NRL come and run the show?
There you go.
Last question here then, Jimmy, from Scott Binks. He goes, can you sum up the Kyle and Jackie O split in rugby league terms? What is the equivalent? Cooper Cronk leaving the Storm, Sonny Bill Williams leaving the Bulldogs, Haas leaving the Broncos. Who is the Kyle in rugby? And he'll say, as another question, he says, who is the Kyle in rugby league media?
I'm not too dialed up on the Kyle and Jackie O situation.
Well, mate, it's the biggest story in Sydney at the moment. End of a 25-year plus radio partnership.
Yeah, but I get that. I get why people are interested. I get why people watch it, but it's not my jam, if that makes sense.
What is your jam? Just podcasts?
Pretty much.
Do you listen to the buy round just to air check yourself and see how you've gone?
No, not really.
Oh, I should have asked this.
Yeah.
I should have said that differently.
No, I like to listen to a couple of podcasts.
Fin vs. History?
Yes. Look, it's not everybody's cup of tea, so it comes with a warning. Don't think, James Graham likes Fin vs. History, so I'll go and watch that. It is beyond offensive, but I think Finn Taylor is a magnificent comedian. If you want to get a taste for Finn Taylor, look up World's Most Awkward TV Appearance on NFL TV. That is bloody brilliant.
Hilarious that he was even booked for that show. It makes no sense how he even ended up there.
The worst thing, so Finn versus the internet was already out. So if you're booking that comedian and you looked up Finn Taylor, those videos comes up, you go, let's not have him for a daytime NFL show.
And he's also not an NFL fan.
And, they didn't know that, but he made it perfectly clear that he wasn't, and he wasn't willing to play the game. He was brilliant on that. But yeah, I do enjoy a bit of Fin vs. History. I'm actually a Patreon member of theirs, so yes, I am. So
Kyle and Jackie O, though.
Yeah. How does it? Look, you've some good examples there about Payne Haas and Sonny Bill, Cooper Cronk. For me, this is you've overspent, and you're looking to get. It's a Salford City Reds, or Salford Red Devils. We're going to bring in Brodie Croft or Jackson Hastings on mega money. Hey, we're successful. We made the Challenge Cup final. We made the grand final, but you don't have the dough to pay them.
They don't. They got rid of 25% of their staff, I think, as part of this.
I think this is one of those where you've moved. You're thinking you've got the budget, or the budget's going to come, or this is tomorrow's problem. We live in today. We live for the now. Yesterday is dead. Tomorrow's not promised. Yeah, let's just go wild. Oh, now the day has come. Maybe that's what I'm assuming.
That reminds me of my Football Manager with Reading. It would have been back on 2001, and I got the lads up to the Premier League. We got promoted. And then I was so excited. I would have been 7, 8 years old playing Football Manager. I was over the moon. Reading finally in the Premier League. And I got a knock on the door from the board of directors, and they said, "Oh, we've sacked you for having too high a wage bill." And I
They
thought,
sacked you for that?
That's for not managing your wages correctly. And I was heartbroken. I remember I burst into tears as a kid. I'd worked so hard to get there. I remember we made the playoffs. We got promoted through the playoffs. And on that game on PC, you used to be able to watch the simulation, not just the actual 3D version of it. And I was shattered. Look, absolutely shattered.
I'm not going to encourage unchecked rage or overreactions, but look, I've been involved throughout my youth a number of times. That's a fist through the keyboard type of situation for me. That's not a shattered. I am like fist through the keyboard. F the board. Yeah. Quite literally.
It was a disgrace. I mean, considering I'd got them, think about the TV rights money that they would have had for that promotion. Yeah, sure. I spent a bit more money than I spent a little bit more money than anticipated.
I reckon that's actually worth writing to the game makers and saying, mate, you guys need to get in the system and reinstate me as manager.
Mate, you know how hard it was to get Reading to the Premier League as well in 01? Like, it was so much work was put into it. A lot of these guys were on loan as well. It was an absolute disgrace.
If Kyle and Jackie are struggling, piecing their life together, they need to come and see you. Yeah, because you can relate. You can really relate to it.
I can probably relate to it. I don't know. If in terms of Kyle Sandland's rugby league media, that question, I don't know. It's a tough one to answer.
I reckon we'll leave it there, Charlie, for another week. But yes, round one. Really looking forward to it. The football is back and the buy round goes nowhere as per usual. See you all next week.